In this video I want to show you a macro I recently wrote in Chicken Scheme. And what this macro does is it formats string like you can do it in JavaScript. And if you don't know, I want to show you what I mean. So, and this is just a normal Chrome devs console. I can show you some JavaScript stuff. So in JavaScript, you can have normal strings like this. And this is only relevant so you know what I'm trying to accomplish with my scheme macro. So I'm not trying to do any JavaScript stuff here. So you can have normal strings and you can have double quotes and yeah, okay. So that's all fine and good, but you can also have these backtick thingies. And here you can also have a string and it returns that string. But what's so special about this backtick syntax is you can have, there's another syntax, and then there's this $ curly braces, and inside these curly braces you can write whatever JavaScript you want. So for example 2+2, and whatever that JavaScript returns is inserted into the string. So it's a very nice and handy way to format strings. We can also have a variable, for example a, and then we can reference it in this string. Here is a string, for example. So yeah, you can imagine what kind of cool stuff you can do with this. So it's just very comfortable to work with it like this, instead of having to type like a string or here is a, and then some, like you normally do it in Scheme, like with, for example, this tilde_a, and then you have like this. I should probably do this not here, but in the actual Scheme process, and then you have like a string or a variable or whatever. We can take this and put it here, and let me make this a bit bigger. So, for example, like this, and then format's not found. Okay, but you know how to format strings in Scheme. All right, so yeah, and I'm just gonna walk you through my process because I have written it down here a bit, like kind of, and I'm gonna walk you through it and yeah, show you what I was thinking and working and trying and what I've came up with. So yeah, first up, I have here a list of modules I need to import. So UTF-8 is not really needed, but I just import it always. Chicken string is needed for like, I think, string split or something. Chicken format for format, which didn't work as we just saw. And procedural markers for the actual like define macro, which I use because I don't really like the define syntax thing. I just like to define my macros with define macro, and srfi1 for, I don't know, for something. So let's import that, and I can make this a bit bigger as well. Oh yeah, and then this here will of course not work because we need double quotes. Okay, so yeah, so this works as you can see, but it's kind of annoying. And if you have like variable names which are like, I don't know, here is like some variable which is like very long, you have to repeat it every time when you want to insert it in this thing, and it kind of gets out of hand, I found. If you have like, I don't know, a bunch of variables and you need to insert them, and then you need to keep track, okay, which tilde_a references which variable. So it's really, it's just not that good to work with. All right, so first up, I've named these, like I've just numbered these. So first up, I just, I don't know, tried the simplest macro I came up with because I haven't written macros in like quite a bit. So I just did this, string append. This is not really a macro in any like meaningful sense, but it does what it's supposed to do. I didn't do this expand correctly, but whatever. So this of course works, and if I fix that, you see this expands to this macro, or rather this scheme code. All right, so next up I've tried variable capture because I think for this you need variable capture. At least that's what I've used, and I don't think you can do without it because you're capturing the variables which are in your environment. You're calling the macro in. So So that's why I'm using with explicit renaming, because we don't rename actually anything. I mean, I can get rid of this. So yeah, let's do that. Evaluate that, and then this, and you see, so we define a variable s, which is bound to the string b, and then we call this macro, which captures s and appends it to a. So yeah, pretty straightforward. As you can see, works as well. All right, next up, I have tried to split the string, based on this pipe symbol. I don't know, I just use this pipe symbol. I mean, you could probably also do it with like this dollar curly braces syntax, but I found this just to be easier while hacking this together. And this didn't work because unbound variable string split, and I don't really know why. And I mean, this obviously also doesn't work. Yeah, I've looked a bit and I found this wiki page or rather this FAQ page for chicken, and it says something about unbound variables, but it's like for defined syntax, so I don't know what that's about. I don't know. And I've tried it, of course, with functions, and it works, obviously. So yeah, I don't know. I just hacked around it by defining my own string split function, which then uses string split. And yeah, that works. And then, for example, for I don't know for what reason, but it obviously finds my own defined function. So this is fine, and this also evaluates fine. And yeah, and in this I only consider the case where there's like one pipe symbol. So string split returns like two symbols, or rather, I only consider the first two symbols from the split. If we add more, these simply don't get considered. So yeah, as you can see. All right. Next up, I thought about, okay, how can I now, because what you want to do, and this is actually the same as with the static site generator I wrote, if you've seen that video. So what we want to do is we have some string here, string, and then we have this pipe symbol, and then we have some code. All right, and then more string, then more code, and so on and so forth. So what we want to do is we want to evaluate every odd element in this. If we split it, so if we string, if I can spell, string split, whoops. Par edit is non par edit. If we string split this based on this pipe, we get like all these elements down here. Here. So the first element is should be considered as a normal string. The second element should be evaluated. The third element, again, normal string, and this again evaluated, and so on. So, and I mean, this is also very hacky what I came up with, but it works, so it's fine. And that is, I just call this iota function with the length of the list of the split string, which then gives me all the numbers from 0 to that length. And then I just zip it. So yeah, as you can see, this does exactly what's written in this comment here. It zips these two lists so that A and 0 are in one list, B and 1, and C and 2. So yeah, I think I just said it the wrong way around, because then we want to then evaluate every odd list element. Okay, whatever. You get what I mean, I hope. All right. So then I define this function my string split and zip, which does exactly that. It splits this string s, and then it zips it together. All right. And this is just a normal function. And then in this macro, I of course call this function right here at the beginning. Oh, and this let is not even needed. I mean, we can do this and this, I guess. Yeah. Then, all right, and then we return code that string appends it, and that does it on whatever this map returns. Okay, so this map checks, is the element we are looking at even? and it does this with kada, because I mean, if you look at that, yeah, kada just returns this number right here. So it returns 0 and 1 and 2 and so on. Then if that is even, so if it's 0 or 2 or 4 and so on, it just returns the element, so the string. So this would return this and so on. And if not, well, at first I tried to do it with string to symbol, but I quickly realized that it's kind of, yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, that's not very flexible. So I just read the string, and this returns the actual, yeah, read in scheme code. So yeah, I hope all that is understandable, but I think so. And oh yeah, we need to evaluate this first. And if we now do that, yeah, oh no, we also need to evaluate this, and then we can do this. And as you can see, it works perfectly fine. So hello gets returned as a normal string. B gets evaluated, and B is bound to this 4 capital B's. This gets returned as string again, and this number to string of this +1 2 function it gets evaluated again. So yeah, and it returns the string. So pretty nice. All right, so oh yeah, right here I have tried it with like implicit renaming, because if you don't specify this with explicit renaming, like this right here, it implicitly renames everything, and that doesn't work, of course, because we want to capture the variables. So if we compile that, or evaluate that, that works. But if we then call it, that doesn't work, because, and this is why we can't rename the symbols, because here it complains unbound variable b something, b398. And of course this is unbound because yeah, it's renamed. So it's like gensimmed, you would, I think, say in Common Lisp. So yeah, that doesn't work because yeah, it depends on these variables not being renamed, so they can get captured. I hope that makes sense. All right. Oh yeah, and in this example here, or in this example here, this number to string thing is really annoying, because if we don't do that, I mean, I can delete that. If we don't do that, it doesn't work. Go down here. Yeah, it doesn't work because bad argument 3 is not a string, and that because of that string append can't append it, because string append only works on strings. So that's kind of annoying. And I mean, this also wouldn't be the case only for this, but if we, for example, did like m, it also complains that m is not a string, which yeah, it's not. So it can append it, so that's kind of not very flexible. And if we think back to the JavaScript example, that of course works, because in the JavaScript string, in this backtick format function, it just treats everything as a string and automatically converts it to a string. All right, so then I thought, okay, how can I fix that? And I came up with another hacky solution, and that is to define this myToString function, which only formats the thing it gets as a string. So if we do that, and I mean, I can call it for demonstration purposes, but I mean, it's clear what it does, isn't it? If we call it with 1, we get the string 1 back. Okay, so that's pretty simple. And this now looks a bit complicated, I guess, but this first part is the same. So we string, split, and zip. Then, I mean, this we can for now skip. This is also the same, this map function, or it should be the same as before. And what's new is this list and this call to myToString. And as you can see, in the macro itself, only this gets evaluated. So there's this backtick, and then we evaluate this map function. Then we call list on it, and then we map my string to it, and then we apply string append to the list that's returned by this map. All right, I hope that's somehow understandable. I think it gets clearer if we macro expand this. So here we have the, I think I first need to evaluate that. Here we have a call to this macro with this string right here. So hello, b, lululul, and then 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus c. So because up here I've used this with c, with this c variable rather. And if we macro expand it, we get back this right here. So we apply string append to map, and then we map my to string on the list that contains the elements, this string, then the b variable or the b symbol, then this string, and then this list. And if you of course call this here and then here, this will of course not work because there is no b. But if we define b, let's rather do it back here. So if we define b to be 0, and then we enter this, or b and c, we need to define c, and then we evaluate this, we get back what we expect to. Of course, I mean, obviously, because we convert all this to strings, and then we apply string append to this list. So it's pretty straightforward. And yeah, that's all the magic there is to it. So if we now call this on with this example up here, we get back the string we would expect, because c is 7, 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 7 is 10, then this string right here, then whatever the b variable is, so right here, this 4 capital B's, and then we append everything and get back the string. Or we can, for example, do this example, which is a bit, which shows it a bit more clearly, because this is kind of cryptic. If we do this, we get back exactly what we expect to. So we bind c to 7, d to 12, and then just insert them. So this would be the same as doing in JavaScript this, for example. So yeah, that's all there is to it, really. I think it's really nice to be able to do something like this. And I mean, in JavaScript you need this special syntax with like a special operator, and it all has to be built into in the language and all that. I mean, if this wasn't in JavaScript, like there would be no way to edit. Or maybe in JavaScript you can, I don't know. But like in conventional programming languages, or at least it wouldn't be this easy like it is in Scheme. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope this was comprehensible. And yeah, I just wanted to show off this quick example. And of course, I will rename this function to, or this macro rather, to something like I don't know, what can you rename it to? For example, f or ff or for ma, or I don't know, something. I will think of something. And yeah, and I hope my thought process and my process going through this was understandable. Oh, and I want to mention a few resources. So here's this. Yeah, this is not really relevant. This was this FAQ I found for low-level macros complaining about unbound variables. But I mean, yeah, I don't think that's relevant. And there's this. If you go to the tutorials page on Chicken Scheme, there is this tutorial on explicit and implicit renaming macros in Chicken. And it goes through a pretty good example. And I mean, this is pretty much the opposite of what I've done, because here the topic is how can we get hygienic macros with define macro. And I have done the opposite by not like doing anything to do with hygiene and just capturing all variables, because that's what's needed in this case. But I think it's still an interesting read through, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. And of course the egg we've used here is procedural macros, which gives us this define macro and other stuff. So this is also pretty interesting. And yeah, that's it, I think. I hope I haven't missed anything, but I don't think so. And I hope this was interesting. And yeah, have a nice day.